it just oozes out of his ears, but he's like that all the time. So I mean, just a tremendous leader. But our guys believe in what they're doing, how we're doing it, and you can see it the way they practice. I think the competitive periods that we're doing on Wednesday and Thursdays have been huge. Keeping that going because our guys are putting it in the week, and then they're playing free on Sundays, and that's the way it has to be.
We focused on how you finished, but the significance of only being down by 4 points at half with all of the mistakes you had and everything you did to yourself, only being down 4 at half, is that pretty significant?
I mean, I just want to credit that to our neutral thinking. We weren't getting caught up in the negatives, just to let you in our mental conditioning program. But you just keep playing. The locker room, there was, like you said, you would have never known that that was going on. It was a challenge that it's part of the game. So I thought our guys did a great job. They just kept playing.
Rolling along here on Cowboys OT following the Cowboys' 35-29 win over the New England Patriots. Let's go back out to Gillette Stadium where Mike McCarthy is speaking to the media.
Okay, David.
You're always talking about having to fight through adversity and come through. There was certainly a lot of adversity for you to fight through in today's game.
Yeah, this is an excellent win for us. We knew coming in here, competing against Coach Belichick and his team, and just all the just all the things that you need to do to win these kind of games. So this is probably as fine as a complimentary win we've had in my time here. I thought the offense was extremely productive, throughout the day. Defense had some great runs there, the takeaways, and the special teams obviously had some big plays in the return game and the block punt. But I've always felt that overtime wins, close wins at the end of the game, these are games you can really build off of. We also talked offensively throughout the week where to play against this defense, your third, fourth, fifth options were going to have to come up big, and I thought Dak did a tremendous job distributing the ball today. And I think all 5 receivers, both tight ends, the backs, I mean, everybody touched the ball in a passing game, and we were able to stay after with a healthy run game. So we knew it was going to be a challenge. We wanted to be aggressive. That was our mindset coming in here. So this is an excellent win for us.
How would you characterize all the big plays that CeeDee Lamb made?
I thought he was on fire, playing with great confidence. You see last week, and it just clearly went to another level this week. So CeeDee was huge today. Not only with the route running and the catching, but the yards after catch, and particularly yards after contact. So I thought CeeDee had a huge day for us.
You were talking about the offense being productive. I think you had a chance to score on your last 5 possessions. The only thing that broke that was the missed field goal. So can you just talk about Dak a little more specifically? Just the game he had and managing it after that rough first half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it just every game's different. Every stadium's different. I'm a big believer in from an emphasis perspective about ebb and flow of the game. There's a kind of a quicker clock, slower spots. The point I'm going here is just a herky jerkiness. The penalties, the big penalties. We had a number of major penalties, and I just thought Dak did a tremendous job with pace of operation and just really just keeping our whole the whole system of play entry, and just kept charging, kept playing, and that's a big part of our success. Just his approach and his efficiency. So can't say enough about Dak Prescott. Just the way that ball was being distributed, and the calmness and the confidence he had in the pocket. I thought our pass protection was excellent. But we knew this was going to be a dogfight. We knew this was going to be a huge challenge coming in here, and I really do. You need these kind of wins, during the course of a season. So I think this one could definitely pay forward for us.
For a touchdown, overtime, cover 0 on 3rd down. You guys get the ball back as an offense. Timely defense. What stood out in that respect today?
Well, I mean, I think you touched on them. I mean, the big plays. I think that the energy never dropped off. We had swings of momentum. They made big plays. They're You knew they were going to be tough. You knew they were going to be physical. You knew they were going to be disciplined. You knew they were going to challenge you schematically. And we saw all that. And, I have tremendous respect for their whole operation here. They do it. What they've done the last 2 decades is unprecedented. So, and that's, kind of the way, you have to approach, any game, but especially coming up here.
You've been around quarterbacks.
You heard it there from Mike McCarthy. The fight of this team, the Cardiac Cowboys, as you may.
Okay.
The way that they were able to come back and win this football game is certainly something that is very positive heading into the future. You know this team's talented. You've seen that already. You know they're built on both sides of the ball, but it's games like this, Nate, that you can build a championship run behind.
Oh, definitely, and I like how Coach McCarthy said that Dak threw the ball to a number of guys, 8 to be exact. Each one on multiple times except one, and that was Blake Jarwin. That was a touchdown. So Dak, Coach McCarthy, Kellen Moore, they kept fighting regardless of how the game went. Cardiac Cowboys came out on top.
Without a doubt. I mean, the fight that this team is showing right now, it's remarkable. I mean, 12 penalties for 115 yards, a couple mistakes in the first half with the turnovers. That would have buried these Cowboys in the past. Now it's just like Kyle said earlier. It's counter punches, and they're coming back with more and more moxie. These guys are here to stay. This offense is probably one of the most prolific offenses I've ever seen in the Cowboys uniform. And this defense, they continually take the football away. That's a recipe for success.
35+ points for the 4th straight game for that Cowboys offense. You mentioned it, though. There were a lot of mistakes early on. You have to clean that up.
You got to clean that up. I mean, a lot of things were biting us in the butt out there. Dak trying to reach over for the goal line right there, got it knocked out. We've seen him do that hundreds of times before, and the result was a touchdown. This time ended up biting him in the butt a little bit. We've got to clean those little things up. The little sloppy holes, the little horse collars here and there. That'll cost us versus better teams. But right now, this Cowboys team is rolling.
And it was a very, very physical game up front. I mean, a lot of guys banged up on both sides of the ball. Both Patriots and Cowboys saw some injuries popping up because of how much punching there was going on between the two. Ezekiel Elliott, one of those guys who really got a lot of the brute force. We hear from him when we return with more Cowboys OT right after the break.
Holding penalties this season and the one that you drew today with a touchdown off the board. Can you just walk us through everything from, do you remember your specific rush on that play, and then just your understanding of there was a touchdown, I got the penalty, like how that all kind of experienced on your end?
Well, I mean, I'm starting to take pride in those holding calls. It feels like I'm getting them every game. Obviously I wish they were worth more than just, a penalty and you get a sack and get on the box score with that in. But, it was good. We got a score off the board for them. I think I was lined up outside and ran like a game or a stunt or something. I went inside, kind of got hung up on him. I tried to rip free and he just wouldn't let go. I think it was a poorly called game by the refs, if I want to be honest. But, you got to fight through it. We only worry about ourselves, and that's what we did. Luckily, we came out to win.
Did you know it was a touchdown or first? Or did you know it was a flag first?
I saw the flag. I looked right at the ref. Thankfully he threw it. But I looked right at the ref, yeah. And so, yeah.
Randy, you talked about how at times you struggle to, handle success, or it's hard for you to embrace it. What's going through your mind right now? What are the emotions, and how much do you view it as, okay, I can keep growing, but I'm playing games together?
I'm just really thankful, really grateful to be in a position I'm in. Not only playing, but playing well and playing on a team that's playing well. So I got to keep telling myself that. I can't get too far ahead of myself.
Ezekiel Elliott with just under 70 yards rushing and over 100 yards from scrimmage in the win, but it was a very physical game for the ground game of the Dallas Cowboys. Here's what he had to say on the win.
Tell me about that one. I mean, just the ups and downs, the craziness. I mean, what is it like to win a game like that?
We definitely needed that one going into the bye week. Like you said, the ups and downs, the way our team stayed neutral, the way we fought. I'm proud of these guys.
What did y'all see there in that final drive when you got the clock is not really a big issue. What are you thinking there? Just, hey, let's just take our time, go down and score a field goal? Or
No, we wanted 6. We already didn't play good enough in the red zone, and we needed 6. We wanted to go get 6. I know we could have kicked the field goal, but we wanted to go get 6.
Take us back to that fourth down series there, where the 4 down stops. I mean, what was happening there? I know you had a couple of plays there, and then of course Dak didn't get in on 2 sneaks.
I mean, their defense did a hell of a job today. Their front was tough. It definitely was tough, especially in that situation. But I mean, we got to figure out a way to get it in there. I thought we got in there. The refs thought different. But that was kind of the story tonight.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I know I don't want to get you in trouble, but I mean, just with the refs, when calls are going against you like that, how tough is it to keep your composure and not say anything and not get any more penalties?
It's really tough. It's hard, but there's no excuse for that. That's ridiculous, the way they called that game tonight. So I mean, but at least we were able to overcome, the Patriots and the Zebras.
How do you feel like they played you in this game? There was a lot of talk. Who is Belichick going to try to take away? Do you feel like they were focusing on the run? It felt like there was some stacked boxes, at least early in the game.
I think they definitely were focused on the run. But, that came out, I don't know how much he threw for it, probably around 400.
A little more,
CeeDee
yeah.
made some big plays. And, I mean, they took care of business.
All right, you get to the bye week. I mean, like you said, it's a much-needed win. You won 5 in a row. How important is it to get to the bye and get some rest here? Do you feel like you're going to stop momentum, or do you feel like, hey, we need this rest?
No, I think it's a good point. I think we need some rest. Hopefully we get a couple guys back that are injured, and but I mean, take care. We got to go ahead and clean this game up, rest, get ready to go to Minnesota. Right?
Yeah,
2 weeks.
That's right. Yeah. All right, appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank
Zeke.
you.
Awesome.
You have a good one.
Good game, Ben.
Zeke very open about needing a little bit of rest because that, like we said going into it, that was a physical ball game, and one of which with a lot of controversy kind of scattered throughout it. What did you think about some of the calls, no calls, and this, that in between from the officials?
Yeah, being a former player in New England, you're not going to get those calls. It's just not going to happen. I can tell you that, unfortunately. You would think that the referee's going to call it evenly regardless of the week. That's not the case. But, to the point that Zeke made, those guys, they overcame it, right? They overcame it. The third down quarterback sneak that wasn't a touchdown. Obviously, they overcame that play, and then they came back the next play, and then they fumbled it, right? But what did they have to do? They had to fight through that adversity to come back, put themselves in a situation to score points, and ultimately get the victory.
And that's where your coaches wasn't phased. So your players wasn't phased, and your veteran players mostly wasn't phased. They just came back and did what they had to do. And speaking on Zeke right quick, you see games where he's just had gash and holes. But this week right here, you saw where Zeke was very physical. And he made physical and he runs and he finished falling forward. So, hey, good job there.
And like he was told, and Nick Eatman on the interview, by the way, he was asked that same question. It looked like there were favorable boxes for New England. I mean, they were selling out to stop the run. Did you agree with that and what you saw, Nate?
100%. We talked earlier in the pregame that this is how it would be, but we thought we would check off. But a lot of times he just ran right into it in the face of adversity and came out on the winning end a lot of times. He averaged 4.1 yards a game.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to grind it out. We knew that these guys were going to be stout. We knew they were large. We knew they were well coached and that they were disciplined. They were going to be in their gaps. The only way in which we were going to move these guys off the ball was going to be on the outside. Sometimes it's gritty. Ultimately, it didn't matter.
It was very gritty. The Cowboys do come out on top, and a big reason for that were key plays from the defense at a couple different moments in the second half. Randy Gregory had a big play in the first half. We hear from what Randy had to say following the 35-29 win.
Have I scored? Yeah, in high school. But other than that, nah. This is my first one in the NFL, obviously. Don't get too many of those.
Was he talking to you when you waved at him?
Nah, he couldn't really say nothing. It was a competitive game. It was going back and forth. But I think I got the best of that matchup.
What kind of confidence do y'all have in Dak on a game-winning drive like that? And when you're going out in overtime, what's Dak saying to you and what's the sentiment?
It's kind of a mutual understanding. Just understanding that the preparation that the coaches have given us week in and week out, just preparing us for moments like this. The team understood the situation and the assignment. And, you know, all 11 of us, we kind of came together. We knew our backs was against the wall. Just all we had is each other, hostile environment. We preached this over and over again, week in and week out. And then for that situation to really unfold, it was like, wow, like how we were prepared. So let's go do this.
Was the 3rd and 25 play similar to the Tampa deal where that led to the interception?
Something like it, most definitely. In a sense, like the route that I had, yes.
What's the redemption that you feel to make that play?
I touch the ball from now on. It's definitely coming up as a catch, and that's how I play. That's how I look at it from this point on. Just motivation, speaking to like my inner self, talking to myself throughout the play, understanding what's at stake, and going to play ball.
And it's 3rd and 25, and you know, I mean,
right.
What's the feeling that you guys have?
Welcome back to Cowboys OT. Following a 35-29 win for the Cowboys over the Patriots, their first win in New England since 1987. And stop me if you've heard this before, the Cowboys defense, bend, don't break. They had 2 turnovers, 2 takeaways again in the win. Here's what Randy Gregory had to say after he forced one of those 2 turnovers.
Randy, can you start by talking about that sequence where they brought it back? Play in the end zone, they scored because of holding you, and then you came right back with the just what that did to where you were in that game and how it kind of helped turn things.
I mean, I was getting real frustrated around that time, and I just felt like, honestly, I felt like their O-line couldn't block me or block any of us as long as they didn't chip us, at least on the ends, and they did a lot of that. And I don't know, man. It was a good play. It changed the momentum, I feel like. Need more plays like that, you know.
Do you feel like you might play your best football when you're pissed off? It seems like you were really mad.
I usually do, you know, and I know there's like a fine line. Sometimes I have to be warned from the coaches and on the field, from the refs, just not taking it too far. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like when I get pissed off, I talk a little bit of some shit. You know, I tend to play a little bit better. And so, you know, last few games I've been trying to do that. I think it kind of helps me lock in, you know.
What did you see from Mac Jones today?
I mean, look, he's a good young quarterback. I think they had a good game plan as far as trying to protect him. You know, at the end of the day, we got to do a better job as far as getting to the quarterback and developing a better rush plan, you know, mid-game. I think a lot of times we had a good plan. We just didn't go out there and execute it the right way. So he was able to pick us apart a few times out there. But just like any other quarterback in the league, you know, you get in front of them, knock them off their spot, hit them, rush them, whatever you want to call it. You know, their accuracy tends to go down. So.
Do you have more power than people think to realize?
You tell me. I mean, what, 4 sacks on a year, and 2 of those came on, you know, bull rushes. So, yeah, I think I throw people off sometimes when I do that. I really feel like I need to do better as far as edge rushing. I think I rely too much on my power now, speed to power. So I think I need to do better as far as early on giving them power, and then, you know, transitioning to edge rushes or counter moves throughout the course of the game. Obviously, it was kind of hard, like I said, with them chipping almost every play. But, you know, you got to work past that.
How emotional was that locker room after that game?
How emotional?
Yes.
Very emotional. I think, you know, we were obviously emotional during the game. You know, we speak about staying neutral a lot, and that was big. You know, I think a couple times we, you know, kind of got out of place with that aspect, and we were able to dial it back a little bit and kind of lock back in. So I think that's why we were able to fight to the end and get that win, you know.
This game meant something, though, just at this place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we needed a tough win like this. You know, I think we expected them to play tough. We just had to out-hit them, outplay them. And there were times where I felt like we did, and there were times I felt like we did. You know, it was really a war out there. But it was a good job of us finishing the game. It really was.
Ray, you had that one kind of clean sack where you had a quarterback. Next gen stats, you get over 13 miles an hour on that play.
Really?
What does that feel like when you have a wide open look at the quarterback and just connect on a play like that?
I mean, you know, I tell myself whenever I have a clean shot like that, I need to go after the ball, and I never do. I really want to get better as far as not just getting to the quarterback, but obviously causing a sack and a fumble, and you know, get the ball back for our offense. Luckily, I was able to do that. But I don't know. Yeah, I just kind of have tunnel vision. There was a couple plays earlier in the game where I felt like I was going to get there, and he just didn't hold it long enough. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of knew what play was coming. I knew it was going to be a pass. I was lined up in a 3-tech, I think, and I just gave him a jab inside, and he just bit on it, you know.
You mentioned the 4 sacks, but you've drawn at least 4 holding penalties this season, and the one that you drew today took a touchdown off the board. Can you just walk us through everything from, do you remember your specific rush on that play, and then just your understanding of that was a touchdown, oh, I got the penalty, like how that all kind of experienced on your end?
Well, I mean, I'm starting to take pride in those holding calls. You know, it feels like I'm getting them every game. You know, obviously, I wish they were worth more than just, you know, a penalty and you get a sack and get on the box score with that in. But yeah, it was good. You know, we got a score off the board for them. I think I was lined up outside and ran like a game or a stunt or something. I went inside, kind of got hung up on him. I tried to rip free and he just wouldn't let go. You know, I think it was a poorly called game by the refs, if I want to be honest. But, you know, you got to fight through it. You know, we only worry about ourselves, and that's what we did. Luckily, we came out to win.
We have another tally in the overcoming the refs, overcoming adversity column in terms of post-game press conference. Randy Gregory just said it there. Ezekiel Elliott a little bit early on. But as we push past that, Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, I'm Kyle Yeomans. I mean, this is a game defensively where you needed the big play to turn up. Randy Gregory had one in the first half, forcing the fumble, the strip sack of Mac Jones, but it was Trayvon Diggs late with the pick six that ultimately got the Cowboys back in it and woke them up a little bit in order to get it to overtime. What did you think about the defense in general?
The defense in general, I think they play pretty well. I think, you know, we talk about how our playmakers have to be able to step up in big games. This was a big game. This was a very tight game. It was very competitive. So when you're in those kind of games, you need something to turn the tide, especially when you're away. When you're playing in New England and the crowd's getting crazy. That's probably the loudest I've ever heard in New England, by the way, even in the playoff games that I've been there.
Wow.
And these guys were going, you know, Gregory obviously just talked about how he had tunnel vision. He was mad. You saw it. But he didn't take it out in the form of trying to have a bad penalty. He took it out in the form of going and getting a sack and forcing a turnover. And then you got Diggs going out there being Johnny on the spot and being in the hip pocket whenever the receiver chose not to catch the ball. So obviously, these guys are taking advantage of opportunities, and we have to continue to do that.
Yeah, I think this defense overall, they played pretty well. I think in that first half, they were a little sleep. You know, Patriots were able to run it down their throats for those first 2 scores. But once that halftime switch, a light switch kind of went off in their head a little bit. And they held the Patriots, I think, to 39 yards in the next 4 drives. So there was a lot of 3-and-outs going on there. They kind of woke up, and they were able to take the ball away, which we needed for this game. Hats goes off to that secondary, Trey Diggs, and Randy Gregory as well. He played a big part.
Yeah, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time situations, and that's exactly what the Cowboys' big-time defensive players did today. Let's take a look at some of the final stats. Now, once again, it was a bend-don't-break mentality. They were still up over 330 yards allowed against the Patriots in an offense that really is pitter-pattered to start the season through the first 6 weeks. But, hey, couple of sacks, couple of takeaways, including the interception and the forced fumbles, and they had another defensive touchdown. I mean, you talk about now 10 straight games with multiple takeaways, and you were able to score defensively. Huge for the Cowboys in their 35-29 win over New England. When we come back on Cowboys OT, we hear from CeeDee Lamb, the hero and the walk-off, when we return.
Amber just sent me a text. Super Bowl.
That's all it said?
Yeah, I just wrote back. Gave her.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a little pain, but no, for sure I would have been able to keep going. Obviously, I think adrenaline would have been up and may not have even felt it at the time, but I think the time that you relax, it's like, oh, well, there it is.
Was there any kind of pop that you felt when you?
Not necessarily. Just came down funny. Didn't like what I felt, but as I said, it's something we'll check out, and I could have kept playing if I had to. and I'll be fine.
Is it something that, given that it's right calf near right ankle, you have to be even more concerned about?
I don't know if I have to be more concerned about it being the right leg than the left leg, but we'll take our precautions. We'll look at it. We'll give a look at it tomorrow, and we'll know from there.
Did you look at this as a really significant game because of what's been accomplished here by the Patriots? You know, what Belichick represents. That this was a significant moment for you guys to try to win a game in this scenario.
I mean, every game in the NFL is tough, but when you come up to a place like this with so much success, knowing what they're going against and how desperate you can say they are trying to get a win and trying to get things rolling in their end. Yeah, I mean, it was very important for us to come in and lock in, knowing that we're going on to the bye week. We needed to focus in on this week and not what next week meant. And obviously coming off the 3-game sweep, that we couldn't put our hair down and we couldn't think that we've done something. So just to be able to, as I say, show the resiliency all night long in all those different moments and be able to have a chance at the end to win it and us to go do it speaks volumes.
Off of that, when you hear that you threw for more yards today.
One of the best games in CeeDee Lamb's young NFL career, the second-year wide receiver with 9 receptions, close to 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game winner in overtime. Here's what Lamb had to say at the podium.
Can you talk about the winning touchdown, or what that play was, and just coming back so much?
Simple play action overall. It wasn't nothing fancy. It was kind of blown coverage, and I saw it early, so I kind of just bring it to open field, hoping that Dak saw me, and he did.
Is that supposed to be a Schultz play
initially? Yeah. Initially, yeah. And then Dak said guy folded back on Schultz, so he held the ball. If he didn't fold on him, he was definitely going to give Schultz the ball, and he was going to get the first down. But obviously that wasn't the case, and I was wide open. So.
Talk about your feeling catching the ball and going to the end zone.
Oh, no, that was an unbelievable feeling. Especially just, I was expecting someone to just pop up behind me, and then there was no one, and like within 3 yards to my left. He was kind of behind me. So when I turned around, I was actually surprised, and then just walked in. It was the best feeling ever, honestly.
Have you ever scored a walk-off before?
Have I scored? Yeah, in high school. But other than that, nah, this is my first one in the NFL, obviously. Don't get too many of those.
Was he talking to you when you waved at him?
Nah, he couldn't really say nothing. It was a competitive game. It was going back and forth, but I think I got the best of that matchup.
What kind of confidence do y'all have in Dak on a game-winning drive like that? And when you're going out in overtime, what's Dak saying to you, and what's the sentiment like?
It's kind of a mutual understanding. Just understanding that the preparation that the coaches have given us week in and week out, just preparing us for moments like this. The team understood the situation and the assignment. And, all 11 of us, we kind of came together. We knew our backs was against the wall. Just all we had is each other, hostile environment. We preached this over and over again, week in and week out. And then for that situation to really unfold, it was like, wow, we were prepared, so let's go do this.
Was it 3rd and 25 place?
You heard it there. I mean, the best feeling ever is what he described it as with the walk-off. He hasn't had a walk-off win, a walk-off touchdown since he was in high school. So, of course, CeeDee Lamb is feeling it a little bit, but you just saw, I think even more so, an emergence of a top wide receiver in the NFC East. He had a one big-time play after the other throughout the game. What did you think about his performance?
He balled out. I mean, you see the stats right there. Obviously, stats don't always show the entire picture, nor do they again this time. But he had 9 for 149 on a touchdown. Big play at the end of the game. Amazing job. I love to see the competitiveness that he had going back and forth against these DBs.
What I'm learning is he growing up before our eyes, man. He's getting consistent. I think he had maybe 1 drop, man, so during this game right here, but he had like 9 catches. So, hey, I like his consistency of making a big play to be able to read the defense like Dak saw it. So that's a great thing.
Cowboys entered the game with one of the top 4 duos in the NFL in terms of receiver, including Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Big reason for that has been Dak Prescott. We hear from QB1 and wrap things up when we come back on Cowboys OT.
game, and I seen on film they like to run that double slant, tall front to the front side, and I just read it, made a play on the ball. He tipped it and fell right in my hands.
I was kind of telling the guys, I was kind of explaining what happened. I thought the amazing part was you were hurdling a guy as you were still trying to catch it. Like when the ball was in your head, it seemed like you were going to the house. Like there was no other stopping you.
There wasn't nothing stopping me. As soon as I got it, I was like, I gotta go score.
So that lasted for about 15 seconds, and then so what happened on the next play? That was kind of a crazy play.
They came right back, hit a double move, and I kind of let up. But it was my fault. Should have been on top of it. So I take full accountability for that. It was my fault. So next time I'm gonna be better on that. Be on top.
I'm gonna have to ask you about that because you've never not gone to get the ball. So did you think maybe Casey was coming for that play, or did you think you were gonna collide, or?
A little bit of both, but at the end of the day, it's still my fault. It's still my man at the end of the day, so I can't really rely on the safety to be right there. Still my man at the end of the day. Like I said, it was my fault. I take responsibility for that.
A game like this, back and forth, defense made huge plays, offense came in, special teams had a block. I mean, a big team win on a road like that. Just speak to that a little bit.
Had to overcome a lot of adversity. Got a couple calls, a lot of calls actually, a lot of penalties. It's a tough place to play. But, we just stuck together. All of us are brothers. We all got each other back. It's clear. You can see it on the field, how we fight for each other. Defense, give up a touchdown, offense come back, offense get stopped, defense get a touchdown. So, it works. This is a good team, and I'm excited.
You've been on some really great college football.
Cowboys OT was brought to you by Geico, 85 years of savings and service. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
35-29 in an instant classic from Gillette Stadium. The Cowboys come out on top in a very offensive yet physical football game in Week 6, and they enter the bye week with a 5-1 record. And with all three NFC East foes losing here in Week 6, they hold a 3-game lead over anybody else in the division going into an early bye week. Wrapping things up here on Cowboys OT, Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans, where there is a bit of breaking news here post-game as Dak Prescott heads to the podium. He is in a walking boot on his right calf. Apparently, he was injured on the final play, the throw to CeeDee Lamb. He is being reevaluated earlier in the week. The Cowboys heading into a bye week, which is a great time for that. But let's hear from QB1 after the 6-point overtime win.
Let's get the elephant in the room. Let's knock it out.
You start by talking about just all the adversity this group overcame today, going in and you making the play with Lamb in that moment to win.
Yeah, I think today just showed our resiliency. Time and time again, defense making plays. Obviously, they came out their first 2 series and got some touchdowns, and for them to dig in, really step up and make plays. For the defense to get an interception return in a moment we need it. For their offense to bite itself in the butt all game long. My turnovers down in the red zone. I'm missing out on points, but just to have the chance to tie the game, to have a chance to go win the game, and just able to do that, I think it just speaks to the resiliency of this bunch and this team and the bond that we've created, and knowing that we're not going to give up and all we need is a chance. And I think that showed tonight.
Those don't look like Jordans. Can you tell us what?
These are Jordans.
Now the one on your right. Browns.
Might get Jordan to make one of these. Something we'll figure out. I figured we weren't playing for a week, so I'd give you guys something to talk about and speculate on this time. So there you go.
Did it happen on the throw, or how could you tell what?
Yeah, the last throw. Just came down funny, and that's what it was. And as I said, something we checked out. I'll be fine. Can promise you that. Great timing going into the bye week, but as I said, y'all can have fun with it this week.
So just talk about the emotions of that play. You hit the game winner, you're celebrating, and then you got a pain in your leg.
Yeah, I was just like, no way. Life keeps throwing punches, and I'm gonna keep throwing them back. It's part of it. It's part of this game. It's a physical game we play. As I said, I'll be fine. I've got a lot of confidence in myself, the medical team, and as I said, I feel good. Obviously, this is precaution, just more so thinking about the touchdown. It doesn't hurt as bad, obviously, when you score and you win the game. So all that's a plus. And credit to CD right there and just the play call, just for us to get in that moment and to be able to go score and capitalize on that. Great call by Kellen.
What does a win like this mean?
So Dak Prescott all smiles after the game, and a big reason for that is the win, but Cowboys Nation a little bit on edge with the quarterback. Of course, the ankle injury last year, the shoulder, and then now into a calf strain. Is this something to worry about, Isaiah?
I don't believe so. I mean, obviously, anytime you have your QB1 showing up with a boot at the press conference, it's not something that you want to see. But, to his point, you see his spirits. Obviously, he's not just in good spirits because of the win. But if it was something that he felt was very serious, he wouldn't be smiling like that. So I feel like, obviously, with the training staff that he's had, that we have currently, and also with the time that they spent together in this offseason, I'm pretty sure he's fully confident that he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's too serious right now. Like you said, he seemed to be in good spirits, smiling about it, joking it with the media as well. So I don't think it's that serious, but I will say this. It's a good thing that thing happened at the last play of the game. And CeeDee was able to walk off with the easy touchdown winner because we did not want to see this offense go out there without Dak Prescott. So good thing for a bye week, very strategically timed.
Where does this win rank above the ones or among the ones in terms of the 5 the Cowboys have had so far?
This is hands down the best game and is the most important game. They needed to see the resilience of their team, as you keep hearing that word come up, and they needed to see the tenacity of these guys to be able to overcome adversity in all forms.
Yeah, I thought this was one of the most impressive victories they had. I mean, this team they going against was extremely disciplined out there. They fought them tooth and nail, and they were huge up front. So the run game didn't get as much going as we thought it would get going. But overall, this is a great win for the Dallas Cowboys and get a great win over Bill Belichick.
Yeah, first win over Bill Belichick since he took over as the head coach for the Patriots. That's one of a ton of different streaks coming to an end. It's the first Cowboys win over the Patriots since 1996 and the first win on the road against New England since Herschel Walker walked it in from 60 yards out in overtime in 1987. That's going to do it for us here on Cowboys OT. Once again, the Cowboys win it 35-29 in New England and go into the bye week at 5-1. For Isaiah, Nate, Barry, I'm Kyle Yeoman. So long. We'll see you in a couple weeks.